Ego is only existent in God because He does something. You do not do. That's why it's a myth.
There are 6 enemies, we have got 6. Now these 6 enemies are what? So kama, krodha, mada, matsara, lobha, moha. Kama is what you can call sexual urge. Krodha is anger. All these 6 enemies attached to thought. There is no way. First it comes as a thought, then it can become a physical pain, it can become a mental agony, it can become anything. But if you are in your thoughtless awareness, then they cannot attack. So try to develop your thoughtless awareness in your meditation. So this is the first step towards your freedom, liberation. From these 6 enemies you must get out. These 6 enemies are still waiting at the door until it's over. With this mind, all kinds of things will come. Temper will come, intrigue will come, jealousies will come. All the 6 enemies that we have will come to us through this mind. Means thinking, rationality. Everything can be rationalized. Why did you murder your wife? Because I hated her. She was this, she was that, but you cannot murder her. Why did you murder your husband? Because of this, because of that. Because of this mind, we start doing things which are absolutely wrong, which are sinful, and then we try to rationalize it. Go against Agya, go against reality, and then use your conditioning, use your, we can call the ego to explain it, why you did it. All the time when we are doing like that, we can never go beyond mind. We are so self-satisfied about ourselves. We think no end of ourselves. Now, how are we to get out of it? Introspection. Matter is for you, you are not for the matter. Now I'll tell you gradually how matter sits on our head. Before realization, first we start using the matter for our comfort. Through science we develop ways and methods by which we develop a life which gives you more comfort. In the beginning it is all right that we get sufficient food, a proper house to live in. But by that time we have already become the slave of the matter. But matter is a dead thing. We just change the forms of matter from dead to dead. But we cannot do any living work. Now this matter starts giving us habits. Then we cannot get out of those habits. And gradually we start becoming slave of matter. It does not go that far. Now, if you have too many machineries, you produce things out of proportion. Like you have so many cars. In Paris, everybody is on the road only. As soon as you are on the road, you are on the road all the time. It's better to be in the house. And you spend hours together. Then you start producing other things. Like supposing they are producing clothes. The factories have to run. You cannot stop the factory. So then they start producing things such a lot, they don't know how to sell it. Then they say that, all right, let us have fashions. Then these manufacturers float fashion houses. Now the fashion starts. With that, everybody changes their clothes every year. They have to be according to the fashion. Such a lot of money is wasted. But we also lose our individuality.
Now, when you see people being mesmerized, those who are honest say that we are mesmerizers and we have it, hypnosis and all that. Very honest people are there also in this world. Everybody is not a thief. So they tell plainly that we are the people who are going to hypnotize. When they hypnotize, you get suddenly submerged into your subconscious mind. The conscious mind gets submerged and you become unconscious to the outside world, and there you start acting according to the demands of the person who is hypnotizing. Now why do you do that? If he says you start jumping, you will start jumping. If he says you start feeling heat, you will start feeling heat. If he says that you start counting 1,000, from 1 to 1,000, you will start doing it. So the mesmerism, very genuinely granted by these people, only helps them to accumulate wealth. Now this gentleman was in America when I was there. So one day I just went to see a public garden where there were so many of his disciples were distributing the handbills and all. So I asked Chandubhai to collect some of them and we'd like to see. So Chandubhai, who is an expert now, he said, Mataji, all their Agya chakras are turning in the opposite direction. If there is any lunatic person, if you see any lunatic person, and if you realize, if you know how to know the Agya chakras movement, you will find all the lunatics have their Agya chakras turning in the opposite direction. मसीह को तो इन्होंने उठाकर सूली पे चढ़ा दिया, तो आसान था, लेकिन इन लोगों को तो कोई पकड़ ही नहीं पाता, जो रात दिन आपसे रुपया खसोट करके और आप लोगों का सर्वनाश करने पर लगे हैं, और कल आपके बच्चों को पागल खाने में भेजने के लिए तैयार बैठे हुए। कभी आप लोग इधर भी आंख उठा कर और सोचिए कि ये क्या है। परमात्मा के नाम पर जड़ वस्तुओं को बांटना कहाँ की भलमानसियत। आप भी क्या कभी सोचते नहीं? कलयुग में तो मैं सोचती हूँ कि मनुष्य के पास इतनी प्रगल्भ बुद्धि है, इतनी उसके अंदर सूझबूझ है, क्या वो सारी अपनी बुद्धि को बेच खाता है कि वो समझता नहीं कि ये एक तरह का मेस्मरिज्म है और एंटाइटमेंट है, जिसकी वजह से हम ऐसे पागल जैसे उसके पीछे भाग रहे हैं और अपने अंदर झूठे बिल्कुल मिथ्या ही विश्वास अंदर में करके कि हम बड़े शांति में बैठे हुए हैं, अपने से भी भुलावा कर रहे हैं और दूसरों से भी भुलावा कर रहे हैं। जब आप रियलाइजेशन हो जाता है तो बहुत दूर जाने की जरूरत नहीं, बहुत पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं, आप समझ सकते हैं कि आप रियलाइज इसमें आप में एक दर अंदर से शांति है। मैं देखती हूँ कि इतने लोगों के गुरु हैं और 30-30, 40-40 साल में हार्ट अटैक आकर के लोग मर जाए। असंभव की बात है। अगर आप में रियलाइजेशन का जरा सा भी तत्व एक बार जाग उठा है तो हार्ट अटैक तो क्या कोई एक्सीडेंट भी होना मुश्किल है। ऐसे ऐसे उदाहरण हमारे अंदर है। एक छोटा सा लड़का अभी परसों बता रहे थे कि ट्रेन से आ रहा था और ट्रेन पूरी उलट गई। जिस डिब्बे में वो बच्चा था उसमें से एक भी आदमी को चोट भी नहीं और वो पार गए। आपके ऊपर देवता मंडराना चाहिए। अगर दिव्य नहीं उतर सकता तो ऐसा रियलाइजेशन क्या। अब हमारे ही लोग आप जानते हैं कितने ही पार हुए हैं, कैंसर तक की कर दी। कोई विशेष बात नहीं, तो विशेष हमारे ख्याल से बात नहीं। सिर्फ यही है कि इनको इसमें इंटरेस्ट नहीं है किसी को क्योर करने में, उनको रियलाइजेशन में ही इंटरेस्ट है, क्योंकि जो आनंद आपने पाया है वही आप चाहते हैं कि सब पाए। सहज नहीं है। अगर आपके पास रुपया पैसा है तो आप चाहते हैं कि रुपया पैसा खर्च करें, लोगों को खिला पिलाएं। ऐसे ही रियलाइज सोल भी चाहेगा मन में कि दूसरों की भी जागृति करे और पार करे और कर सकते। अगर आपके अंदर लाइट आई है उसके लिए कसम लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। कस्तूरी का अगर सुगंध आ रहा है तो उसके लिए कोई आपको कसम लेकर कहने की जरूरत नहीं कि यहाँ पे कस्तूरी का सुगंध। लेकिन कस्तूरी की खोज है किस, ये पहले अंदर सोच लीजिए, नहीं तो ऐसे चक्करों में घूमने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। एक साइड में तो हमारे ये लोग हैं जो कि हमारे सबकॉन्शियस से खेल रहे, हमारे जड़ चेतन से, हमारे पास से खेल रहे। मैं ऐसे भी लोगों को जानती हूँ। इस खोज में मैंने बहुत गुरु घंटालों को देखा और सबके मैं हथकंडे जानती हूँ कि ये क्या क्या दशा करते हैं और किस तरह से जन्म जन्मांतर के लिए आपकी कुंडलिनियों का सत्यानाश कर। मैं बहुत से ऐसे लोगों को जानती हूँ जो आपके पिछले जन्म की बातें बताओ, उसी से आप अभिभूत हो जाते। किसी ने कह दिया मैं तुम्हारा पति,
Actually, it is a collective happening. It's a mass happening. Of course, it moves slowly in the West. I have seen that. They are easily hypnotized. Western people can be much more easily hypnotized than Indians are. They go into, I don't know why, crazy things like flying. Imagine. There is a guru who wants them to fly, and thousands go to him. Are you going to become birds now? I don't understand why ask for flying. And does this guru fly himself? You put him on this leaning tower of Pisa and see if he can fly. They are befooling you like this, and how can you be befooled? You are intelligent people. You are such a great person like Christ coming down here. Maybe these religions which were organized religions did stupid things. Maybe these religions which try to organize Christ did stupid things. That doesn't mean that Christ was wrong. Did he organize anything like that? Did he charge any money? Did he live like a parasite on others' money?
So we get two extremes. You can say is one side is fanaticism. It is insane, awkward and very detrimental for human growth. And when you turn away from that, from one stream to another, you go to the other side, where you start feeling, oh, how can we believe it? So we do not believe. So this is the thing. In between these two, today we stand. In many countries, all over the world, all the young people are awakened to this fact that fanaticism is something stupid. So they are moving to the other side, towards the rationality, the intellectualism. But a simple thing one should understand. Does rationality give you joy? It is so dry. You go on building words after words. At the end you are tired, fagged out, jittery. You have had a discussion with an intellectual, say, twice or thrice. You are finished. Better go to a pub. You build up tension. And really you become jittery.
So far, whatever we have worked out, our solutions are on mental level. And even the religion has become just a mental projection of human beings. They believe in something blindly. And it is just an artificial sort of ritualism through which we go, and we are quite surprised, how can it be like that? And the mental projection always makes a man extremist. And the only alternative they can cling on to fanaticism of the worst type, where people do not want to even listen to something that is sensible. So running away from these religions is also not a solution or alternative. So what is the alternative left for the whole human beings? Perhaps the awakening, the awareness that we have to find the real alternative is very, very much allowed everywhere in the whole world. That shows that so many people who are thinking, who are of a higher evolution, a special category, are seeking solutions beyond what they have so far tried. As I have told you that whatever is the truth has to come on your central nervous system, has to be in your consciousness. So in essence, respect all the religions and all the incarnations. Fanaticism is absolutely against Nabhi and against the void, because the whole balance of your void is to be kept. In a very subtle and subtler form, you will be sticking on to it. Say you are born a Christian. So whatever you may try, you cannot get out of this feeling that we are Christians. You will have much more respect for Mary in heart than for, say, Lakshmi. While you are a Hindu, you will have much more respect for Radha than for Mary. That will be lingering on and lingering on. When you develop that balance overnight, then you are the harmony. That balancing has to be done. Then fanaticism of any kind, that lingers on. This is another very deep misidentification. I am aware of it. I did not talk of Catholicism till the other day I went to Portugal, when I had to talk. So I said first time. I never talked about Protestants before till I had to talk that there are another mad race going round. There are 27 churches of this kind. None of them, except for we, are really Christians. All are nonsensical fanatics. Seventh-day Adventists and Pentecostals and this and that. All absurd ideas. All are playing into the hands of bhoots, take it from me. They have nothing to do with God, they are anti-God. All those who still stick on to all these churches and to this kind of fanaticism. I am saying here churches because here I have to talk about churches. Should know that all these churches have now become the place of bhoots. You go to one church and you'll rush to me. From my house, I see in the night hosts of bhoots waiting out of the church. I do not know. And somehow it's happening that whatever house I decide to stay in, there's a big church in front of me. It may be a Catholic church, maybe a Protestant church. And they have seen to it that they make it really bhutish by making all those who die stay in that church. They are not realized people. Realized people only should be buried and all others should be burnt off. It's better. At least the boots go out of them. When they are roaming about in the church and you are taking the children down there into the cemetery.
But the people who die, as I told you, as the great sufferers, with great desires and lust, very depraved and debased people, who indulge in alcoholism and drugs and sex, who make their life miserable, who are violent to themselves and not to others, who are not aggressive but are aggressed, who commit suicide, they do not go to the appointed place. They stick on around. And some of them are really busybodies. They try to torture other souls. All the mental cases that you find in this world suffer from the obsession or the possession by these entities. We call them as bhoot and pishachas. You may not believe it because people don't believe in bhoot. We believe it or not, but they exist. These people are not ambitious people, but they are sly. They are mischievous, but they are afraid. So they try to find out this type of people. They enter into the psyche of such people. And they make them even worse. They make their lives miserable. And they make such a person absolutely abnormal. When the psychologists are treating such abnormal people, they perhaps do not know what they are up to. The psychologists, when they get in contact with such abnormal people, they themselves are influenced or contaminated, they catch from these depraved and debased, lusty, sexy people. And they themselves become so abnormal because they seldom have any relationship with normal people, that they start putting up theories absolutely abnormal. An abnormal personality is made as a normal personality and is made to be accepted by everyone. So they start with a theory that you should not suppress your desires. You should become very expressive and absolutely liberated as far as these desires are concerned. All right, go ahead. But they are not aware of the other side of the human beings, that those who do like this can get into the other trap and can become egoistical. It starts as a trip of their ego then. They become so egoistical that they forget what is sin, what is God, what is holiness. That is what has happened in the Western countries.